Wow.
We forgot to say, we thought of an acronym, and then
we didn't say
it
it at the beginning. We even thought of it before.
because we were gonna plan ahead.
You
Okay.
can put this at the beginning and no one would know.
No one will know.
Okay, I'm gonna... Welcome to Women in STEM. Today we're gonna be reviewing a movie that involves the acronym.
In a change of pace from
We're
our
gonna be
usual
talking
content,
about a
we're going to be
movie.
talking about a movie.
Again, special guest star Allison.
No.
Thank you for joining us today. Do you have anything you want to tell the viewers before we start recording the episode?
That's a no, I think.
You heard it here first, folks. So what are we going to be talking about today? Sorry.
Picture it. It's 1999. Whitney is in utero.
Or has just been born.
Freshly...
Oh, that's right.
Because we don't know
right.
what year it came out. I mean, what month.
What month? Yeah, we know it came out in 1999, but
Just like Whitney.
I came out in March, and we don't know what time I was released in March, and we don't know what time the movie was released.
I like that you changed from came out to was released.
For the prison of
wait.
No homo, no homo. Well, probably for the rest of the episode, a little bit, because the movie we're going to be talking about today.
A little bit of homo.
Little bit of homo, yeah.
I really just was going to say the acronym.
Well, it's still going.
Yeah, okay.
I'm so sorry. This is the
That's what
thing
post is for. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I'll probably cut out most of this.
That's
so it'll
good.
be 20 seconds instead of
Good,
2
good.
minutes.
Okay, what are we going to be talking about today?
Stew tasty. Eat men.
Eat men.
And what could that mean? Watch the rest of the video to find out. Whoa.
Stay tuned.
Hello. No Whitney.
We should just do the whole thing without her, and if she tries to contribute, we don't put her in frame. Yeah.
Yes, good idea. Hello, and welcome to Women in STEM.
I'm a woman.
And as always, it's just us. This is my regular co-host who's always here, Allison, of course. Today we're talking about the movie Ravenous. Have you seen it?
Are you ask?
seen it?
Yes, me personally, yes.
We've
You?
both seen it. Have you seen it?
Oh, that's
Leave
too
a comment
bad.
down below. I guess we were talking to separate people.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I think people tend to watch this one in pairs.
Yeah.
So I was
typically
left
yeah.
person, you were right person.
Left person hasn't seen it.
No.
Right person has to leave a comment about why they haven't seen it. Embarrassing.
And their plans to rectify it. Oh, sorry.
Jeez. Well, I'm tired now. Oh, sorry. I waved, but I covered up Allison.
Hi, everybody.
Hi. Hi. The stick is we're going to have 3 people on this podcast, but every time we record, we're going to just have 2 on.
Yeah. It's a rotating cast of 2 characters.
That makes it fun.
2 to 3 characters.
But yes, the movie today is Ravenous from 1999.
Mm-hmm.
That
Which is a little old.
yeah.
But bear with us.
Yeah. Might be too old for some people. But it does have a few redeeming characteristics. So we watched this movie today because I watched it several weeks ago and have not been able to stop thinking about it. And so I made these 2 watch it with me today, just now.
Uh-huh.
Did you watch it several times in those few weeks?
Oh, yeah. That goes
So
without saying.
oh, okay.
Yeah. If
Haven't
Whitney
been able to
likes a
stop
movie,
thinking
she
about
has
it.
to watch it several times.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You may, some, dedicated viewers and listeners may have already heard of this movie because of how just recently Whitney described the movie to me before we started talking about something else.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, see, I don't remember that. That makes it more fun.
Because that's how I knew about the movie, is because you told me about it before. And the only time we talk is for this.
Some dedicated listeners might recognize this, but I won't.
I appreciate you trying to get me. Olivia's been blocking me for a solid 2 minutes.
This is really
like, let me do my hair. Really far out.
I really liked that shot
Allison?
too.
Oh, I remember her.
Allison.
Whatever happened to her? Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't heard
She
from
was
her in a
great.
while.
I don't know.
It was a really
Check Facebook later.
Anyway, that's good.
You know what else is good?
I
You were
want you to
supposed to
say.
finish this.
I know what you were setting up, but I wanted to make you say it.
Some of Whitney's movie recommendations.
I think Allison has been subtly hinting that maybe this one wasn't her favorite one that I've recommended.
These subtle hints include Whitney asking, Allison, did you like the movie? And she said, in a sense.
That sure was a movie that we watched.
Right.
Yeah. Now she can say, oh, I've seen that movie, and then not elaborate.
At all.
Whitney would say, oh, I've seen that movie, I love that movie. And Allison would say, I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
Just you.
I want a way to cut off Olivia.
I could be in...
But it's you're in the
okay.
middle, so it's kind of a problem.
Well, I'll just, like...
Very
put my hide under the blinky.
Whitney, you say a pro of the movie, and I'll say something else about the movie.
Pro, really, really good score.
Pro, really, really bad quality of footage, not HD. Just as a function of it being incredibly vintage.
That's a pro, because
It really adds
You're
to
not
the vibe
here.
of the movie.
Oh, right, sorry.
No, I'm
Olivia, where'd you
I'm
put
being
It's set in, like, the 1840s.
They didn't have cameras in the 1840s.
Yeah, so it feels more realistic.
Yeah.
This is the first movie ever made. It's filmed in 1840, and then they recovered the footage in 1999.
After that.
That's true.
Yeah. And they're like, wow, this guy looks
It's
a
a documentary.
lot like Robert Carlyle. That's crazy. Yeah.
I did not like it. It wasn't my flavor, my preferred flavor. It was a
Yeah.
tad violent.
Because it's
It was-
very
it's a
Just
weird
by the
movie.
virtue of it.
Yeah, just a disclaimer that I maybe didn't give.
Alice?
Well, you said it was cannibalism.
Yeah.
I didn't know it'd be quite so,
like,
you know.
I was pretty prepared for it,
I
because
went into more
you
detail
sent me a
with
little
you.
clip of it as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did. Yeah. It's a very odd movie, and we were talking just before we started recording that it's very hard to pin to a single genre. Like, I read when it was being marketed and right before it was released, they kind of tried to market it as a thriller, but then it was a little campy and a lot of dark humor in it, and so people were really confused because they were expecting like a gritty horror movie, and that's not what they got, you know.
Right.
And it is gory. There's a lot of blood, and so people who were expecting just like a kind of a Western mystery were like, "There's blood. It's gross." And so no one
It's a bit
really
much.
went into it wanting, like, getting what they wanted out of it because no one knew how to market it.
Right.
So it's a weird movie.
Right. I will
odd, yeah.
acknowledge that, like, the level of, like, gore and violence was kind of necessary to have that contrast of, like, oh, a very bloody scene is happening, and then the soundtrack is like, doo doo ba doo doo ba doo boop boop, and, like, that made it very campy. So it was, like, it wasn't done poorly, I don't think. You know? I think it was doing what it was trying to do.
Yeah.
And I respect
I
that.
think it's just people don't necessarily know going into a movie that that's what it's
Right.
trying to do. It's hard to, like, describe it in simple terms.
Yeah.
Oh, I started it and didn't have a thought in mind.
You fool.
I know.
We're gonna get bad reviews.
Oh no.
Much like this movie did.
Nice.
Because of that.
Because of
In its initial release.
Yeah.
That's why
Right.
you feel like people have slept on it since, is because
It
it,
did
hasn't been
very
revisited.
Because it kind of
Yeah.
bombed
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
yeah.
So it has since kind of made a little bit of a comeback. Like, it's a bit of a cult classic now, but I had never heard of it until like a
Right.
month ago.
And you've seen it every day since.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Not aghast.
There's something
Oh,
about
yeah.
there's
This
something
is not
about it
surprising.
that's just so no. Whoa.
Like,
Whoa.
whoa,
Whoa.
whoa,
Whoa.
whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I looked it up and I was like, that sounds weird. It doesn't really sound like my flavor of movie either, because I don't really like a lot of gore usually.
Sure.
But then I watched a clip of it. I was like,
It's kind of compelling though.
it kind of, it kind of got me a little bit, and then I had to watch it from the beginning, and now here we are. I've seen it 1,000 times already, and
And we've each seen it once.
just the
Just
once.
this
And
time today.
You've seen it none times. You've seen it none times.
Mm-hmm.
Zero.
Explain
is the
that.
word. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. Like, I think even if you hadn't told me the like GQ interview story going into it, like he does deliver almost every line, like as in a seductive way almost. You're
Yeah.
like, why are you saying that in that way?
Yeah, there are 1,000 ways you could have phrased that.
Yeah,
But it's like he chose to go into it
yeah,
deliberately, like, how can I make this as like sensual as I possibly can.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cannibal movie, but it also has vibes of like of vampirism and the you know, the dark seduction. And
Yeah.
it's very. I mean, there's 1,000 things to say about it, and I'm blanking on all of them.
Yeah. What I thought was weird, in the moment, so they fall off down the mountain
For so long.
for
Really,
forever.
long.
That's the funniest part of the movie. They just keep falling. I really think they used the same shot of him falling like 2 or 3 times in that sequence. It's like him rolling and then a close up and then him rolling the same, and very good.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they like get down in the pit and then he's down there for like, it seems like a long time because you see the moon change and he's gotten all like gaunt and like sore and obviously has been there for a while. And then he eats this guy's leg.
Yeah.
And it's like, would he not have been like rotten
Yeah.
at that point? And they just never bring that up again. It's like, oh, I see you got your strength back from eating that man, instead of like, shouldn't, you know, he should have gotten like prion disease or something from the blood and the rotten meat.
I do
would
think
say.
That maybe the fact that they were in a pit in the winter and he was so cold means maybe the meat was refrigerated.
He was refrigerated. It's just interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't think prions exist in this universe. Because if
Yeah,
anyone was
no,
going
I
to get
think-
prion disease, it probably would have been Robert Carlyle.
Yeah, yes, like repeatedly.
Oh, yeah, you would have
Yeah.
had triple prion disease.
yeah, unheard
Maybe
of.
the prion disease
Super
cures
prion
itself
disease.
as you eat the...
Oh yeah, it cancels
As you
out.
absorb the...
If you get it once, that's bad, but if you get it a second time, it cancels out. So he just has to make sure he eats an even number of people.
I meant with the human... The soul strength that he gains, yes.
Yeah.
Two different interpretations of it, and I like both of them.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to hurry up and eat the next person.
Yeah.
That's
things
why he
can-
wasn't
two things
quite
can
as
be
strong.
true
He
at
was
once.
still looking kind of...
Oh yeah, because he
Yeah.
only ate one guy,
Right.
so he didn't have a chance to offset it. Yeah.
That's actually something that I like, too, about John Boyd, who is the main character played by Guy Pearce, is that you think he's got a fear of blood through most of the movie, but then once you realize that cannibalism is kind of addictive, you realize that the start of the movie, he escaped being killed and was... So, here's the context, right? he was at the bottom of a pile of bodies, and blood accidentally drained down his throat from the men above him who were dead, because he was faking his death, you see. Naturally. And so you think, oh, he's just really traumatized, obviously, from all that blood. He doesn't like the sight of it. That's fine. But then you realize, oh, he's hungry. He's hungry.
But
And
he doesn't
he's-
like the fact that he's hungry because
Yeah.
he thinks that cannibalism is
Is
immoral. He's, you know, internalized homophobic, if you will. If that's the metaphor that we're going with. Which
Yeah.
it was, according to Robert Carlyle, then yeah, that's what's happening.
Yep.
Friends.
I don't know if the camera got that, but
It may have just it probably just got
Friends.
got the end.
ends,
Yeah.
Well, guess what I said.
Drop a comment down below.
You'll never know.
Yeah, so
Yeah, but anyway, so you're saying, like, the moment that it becomes very obvious that Boyd has been holding back because of fear of cannibalism and not because of just, like, a general PTSD, fear of blood thing, is when he, like, the other man...
Reich?
No.
Ives?
Yeah, Ives.
Yeah.
Colonel Ives is, like, getting a little too close to him, and he's like, "Ah," and cuts his hand. And then Ives is like... like, doesn't caress him, but gets his hand, like
this.
right there.
And Boyd looks at him like
He literally breathes in like that, and you're like, whoa! Hey! Whoa!
he moans as Ives pulls his hand away. You're like, should I be watching this? It's
Get a room! And so then, but that's the point that, like, if you didn't get it before then, you would get it right now.
Yeah.
That it's like, oh, he's trying to resist this urge that he thinks is bad.
Yeah.
And arguably, it is.
Yep, pretty bad.
Yeah.
So the cannibalism is a little bit like, I'm not gonna say a little bit, it's pretty gay, but also very overt themes of westward expansion, Manifest Destiny
And
being
one of the
compared
characters
to.
literally
He says it out
He
loud.
walks outside and says,
Manifest.
Destiny.
This country is growing, consuming all it can, and all we can do is follow.
Right.
And what I like about this is the director, Antonia Bird. May she rest in peace, because she's my personal hero after this movie.
Is she dead?
She's dead. Did
Is
I
she
not say?
related to Brad Bird?
I don't
That
know.
would be nice.
Maybe. Antonia, if you can hear us, give us a sign if you're related to Brad Bird.
Hey, Brad. Land of the Living. Do you know Antonia Bird? Or is it just like happens to be two directors with the same last name?
Bird.
Let us know.
Yep.
Yeah,
Drop
that's
a
the last
comment down
name.
below.
Thanks for the clarification. Maybe people wouldn't have gotten that. I think it's just a nickname.
But anyway, what I like about her is reading her intentional choices, like all of the choices that she made throughout the movie. A huge theme of it was we got to have a lot of or at least one. How do I say this? Ives has to be European,
Yeah.
because Americans have this drive, this theme of westward expansion of Manifest Destiny, because we all came from Europe, you know, and she kind of has the Europeans kind of take responsibility for that a little bit. She says it doesn't just come from the Americans. We have to recognize.
So it's like, where
Yeah.
did the Americans come from?
Yeah, exactly. So we have to recognize it's not just
The UK, by the way.
yeah.
British colonial America, it used to be called. Just so we know.
Yeah, but I thought that was really.
Sorry.
But I just liked that because I thought it was very real of her to say we can't just blame it. We can't just be pointing fingers at one or the other. We have to all like look at ourselves and say, how are we taking and not giving back?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who gave you
True.
the opportunity, but then also you were the one that took the bite, like, which
Yeah.
surprised
That was good. Yeah, my gosh.
But I thought it was very interesting. I was fully expecting him at the end to eat the other guy and walk out like all like with the blood off of him and be like, oh, hello, welcome to the fort, you know, like that's what I was expecting, and then all of a sudden it was not. It was just like they're all dead and someone's walking away. I thought that was kind of an interesting way to end it.
Like, once you're in too deep, it just has to like end, and you can't be the hero or save face or anything like
Right.
it's just,
Yeah. And I loved the comparison between Ives and Boyd, as, you know, Ives is kind of American reality and American history, whereas Boyd kind of represents American ideals and you know,
he has a strong sense of morality.
Yeah.
And
and even his act of cowardice, you know, he just doesn't want. He says he froze. He said he was afraid. He doesn't want to kill anybody, and you know, it's viewed as shameful. But his actions later, you know, he's willing to kill when he knows it's right. You know, he's willing to kill Ives because he knows you can't live. You're a danger, and I love that he's not a coward. He just is
principled in a way that doesn't fit into the world
exactly.
that he lives in.
Exactly. Like he is the American ideal that Americans themselves might not recognize as the ideal. You know, this is what we're supposed to be. This is what we all should want to be, and instead of what we actually are, which is just hungry.
Yeah.
And
And there's a shot that we talked about as it happened that really like illustrates that point where they're standing next to each other and the like American flag is like right in the middle of the shot. You know how people do that where there's like two people and then there's something in the middle that shows the divide between the two, and it's like, ooh, symbolic. It's the American flag, and this guy is like, he's looking healthy and happy, and he's like, let's celebrate Manifest Destiny, baby. And the other guy is like gaunt. He's like on the brink of death. He's majorly depressed, and he's like, what? No, like, I don't want to do that. It's this idea of like American like prosperity and like wealth and whatever, but at the expense of morality and the other people who already lived there.
and at that same scene too, Boyd, who is looking like death, is wearing a blue shirt, kind of a white blanket over his shoulders, and is
And he has
covered
scabs on
in
his
blood.
face, so he's all
He's
red,
red, white, and blue, literally. Miss Antonia, like,
Yeah.
she wasn't even trying to hide it. She just said, we're going to be as overt as possible. They're going to get it if it kills them.
Yeah.
And I love her for that. It's amazing.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's not like a...
It's not like a point.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, wow, look at these Indigenous actors playing Indigenous characters. That should be,
Even-
like, normal, you know?
In the what is that? The 20th century?
Yeah.
You don't even know.
Even way back in the past when Whitney was born.
Are you
Spring
older
of
than this movie?
99. Are you older than this movie?
I don't know what month this movie came
Oh.
out.
You probably are, though, because I
I'm
feel like
pretty-
people usually don't do beginning of the year releases.
Yeah.
Like, it starts in, like, May. Like, Memorial Weekend is usually the big boom for movies for the rest of the year.
Yeah, the odds are good of me being
Yeah.
older than the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie, which is ancient, by the way, so.
So it's vintage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Aren't we all?
I'm
Yeah, but I
finally gonna be able
noticed,
to
like-
rent a car. I'm
Wow,
so
wow.
excited about this.
You can do anything after that.
Yeah, genuinely,
That's
this is the last thing that I have to look forward to.
Yeah. In life. We get old enough to rent a car, and then
It's all down
look
there.
forward to death. It looks like I was crying. Oh, how?
You can have an. Uh-oh.
No, she's watched this movie too many times. It's
Yeah,
yeah, it was-
having Indigenous actors really drives home this because they use the word Wendigo to describe it's a Native American legend, but the fact that they're there representing this tiny portion of their culture, like still remaining and just kind of having to exist there, not really having any other
being like,
choice.
oh yeah, we know about this danger,
Right.
and there's nothing that you can do to save us. Actually, like there's a point where
because
he's
you're
like,
part of the problem.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
He's like, what do I do to stop it? And she's like, there's nothing.
You've
you
already,
can do.
you've already done the
Yeah.
damage.
You just have
set
to
the
die.
ball rolling.
You have
Yeah,
to give, you have to give
Yep.
yourself. Yeah, you have
Yeah.
to.
very on the nose.
And it was cool, like in the like, not the opening shot, but the first like when they're traveling and you see like him and her, and she has like an Ojibwe like tattoo on her chin, and I was like, oh, I've seen that before. And then like 5 minutes later, the guy's like, oh yeah, this is like an Ojibwe tradition, and I was like, okay, that's like it's cool that it's specifically like
It's not just like we're Indian.
any
all the
Indigenous
same.
American person,
Yeah.
but they have like consistency with which nation they're representing. Yeah.
The whole thing just felt very respectful to have this recognition, I guess, that maybe this problem comes from the Europeans, but also it's the Americans who carried it out, and also here are the people who were affected directly. Like it wasn't just addressing the whole the darkness of the American westward expansion movement, but it also had this kind of
Like,
moment
very
where you have
real
to
examples.
glaringly in your face
Yeah.
of this is who it affects. This is yeah. And it's interesting because you just don't see movies like that very often that are able to look at the past critically while also being representative in an accurate way. Like, does that make sense? It's
While also being fun.
it's so fun.
You can join if you'd like.
Okay.
I was gonna say that I really appreciate that Martha, who's one of the native actors in the movie, is the last person that we see.
Oh, she's so good.
walking
Actually,
away.
I'm gonna
Yeah, so she like the brother warns them of what's gonna happen and about this legend that they have, and then he dies, and so they ask her for more information, and she's like, there's nothing you can do, like, unless you die. And then basically after a series of events, he does end it by sacrificing himself to die, and she just like looks into the door and sees what he did and closes the door.
Smiles.
She's like, yeah,
It's kind of a sad way.
yeah,
And yeah, just walks away.
and then just leaves. And I think that's an interesting ending to this saga of colonial expansion and whatever. Yeah.
I like that she's not, like, grateful. She's not, like, celebratory. She's like, finally this horror is over.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, it's
And
like,
I can
well,
just walk away.
I'm done. Like,
And she does.
Yeah.
She walks fully out of the fort and away.
There's
She's
somebody
got
else
nothing
there.
left to keep her there. Like, her brother is dead. Everyone at the fort that she cared about is gone. Now she's just free.
And there's no more threat, right? Everyone
more
that she
threats.
cared about at the fort and the dangerous, like, inside man in the fort are all gone.
Yeah. And I love that she's rightfully suspicious of Boyd. They're all, because she knows that there's something not right. And we as the audience know, you know, it's Ives is a threat, but also Boyd shows that
Boyd
he also
obviously
has the
could be,
potential to be a danger as well. And so she knows maybe not the whole of the story, but enough to be suspicious of him, and of what happened to her brother and the other people at the fort. And so when she can see at the end, it's not just Ives, but also Boyd is able to kind of take care of himself, then yeah, there's no risk of anything else being a danger in the future. She's a final girl.
She's the final girl.
She's the final girl. She's legendary. I really love her because she just strategically avoids danger at every point. And it's just
like, goodbye.
yeah, I love her. She's really... Okay, we're back. One last concluding thought is that Robert Carlyle played this part so perfectly in so many ways because, and I said this when we were watching it, but you look at him and you
fully believe that he's a little freak.
Yeah. You think he's actually maybe killed a person and eaten them before. He just has that vibe.
Maybe he has.
Maybe.
Sometimes actors prepare for roles.
Yeah, he's method.
Mr. Carlyle, let us know what your preparation was.
Yeah.
Drop a comment down below. My favorite part in the movie, well, there's a couple that I really like, but my favorite continuing theme is that Ives repeatedly looks at Boyd with so, like, just an overwhelming vibe of lust in his eyes. And you think maybe he's hungry, maybe that's it, but no, he looks at him longingly, repeatedly. And this is really fun because after he stabs him one time and is like, yummy, and then the final scene is purposefully framed to be maybe like a kiss. And so the characters are like looking at each other, and then you're looking at each other, and they're really, really close. And you're like, are they gonna, is this, really? And then all of a sudden, they're not. But then Robert Carlyle says, "Aww."
That was really sneaky.
That was really sneaky. So, you know, it was on purpose. And I just like that. He also says the word virile several times throughout the movie.
Which is odd. I think
It's a very specific choice of words.
Yeah. It makes sense though for like with the, I guess the theme of like taking things that aren't yours, like, and consuming and stuff, and also the theme of like homosexuality or whatever. It makes sense that he is longing for Boyd so much because he thinks that this is someone who can relate to him. It's like, oh, we've had the same situation. Like, there was this, we were in extremity, and then the only solution was to eat human blood or whatever. And he's like, we have this understanding. Even when they go out, like, originally, before we know who Ives really is, and they're up on the mountain, and they just have, like, a private moment where Boyd is like, hey,
Did eating blood make you feel this very
you,
specific
like,
way?
Did this ever happen to you? And it could be because he just heard the, like, native legend of what happened, but it also could be because he experienced that himself, right? So then Ives immediately clocks him as like, oh, one of us, right?
They're on the
So,
mountain. He's like,
to him, it makes complete sense to keep Boyd alive and try to convince him to, like, join the dark side or whatever.
because why wouldn't he?
He thinks that this is the number one person who's going to understand what he's going through. Yeah, why wouldn't he?
Yeah.
He knows what this is like.
Yeah.
And how great it can be. And then, but it also makes sense for Boyd to be like, what?
Dude, what's wrong with you?
Ew. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, it just shows the two different frames of mind, right? Like, I am going to this is good for me and beneficial for me, so I'm just going to keep taking, and not care how it affects the people and the lives around me.
Yeah.
Whereas Boyd is, I don't care how it affects me. I can, I
don't want to give into this because I believe that it's wrong.
Because I believe it's wrong, yeah. He even only ate Reich in the first place because he knew that he had to get out and warn everybody else.
Yeah, that's true.
So that he knew he had to put something else over his own morality, even in that moment.
And he didn't eat all of him, right? Like,
no,
he
just
didn't indulge.
Yeah.
And that's something, like, Ives calls him out later. He's like, you didn't
finish
your meal. And he's like, I didn't want to eat it. Like,
yeah.
it was all I had.
He also says, don't worry, I finished him.
Yeah.
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 Just like, that's not what that's what I was worried about, but not in that way. Like, I didn't want you to.
To conclude, I love this movie. I'm still a little bit confused about why I love it so much. I'm gonna have to think about it some more.
Probably watch it a couple more times.
Probably, yeah. We probably should watch it again tonight just to really solidify it.
Are you sure you didn't love it?
Yeah,
let's watch it again.
Let's start it over.
I'm actually headed back down tonight.
Oh, you got a different ride.
She's gonna leave early.
There's just something about it that's so sticky. And it's not even just the fake blood. There's something.
Of which there is a lot.
There's a lot of it. There's a lot of fake blood.
Caused a national shortage.
It genuinely did, yeah. But
sounds like something I would say as a joke, but apparently it really happened.
It really happened. Yeah, the final scene had so much blood in it that they were like, there's no more. We're out of fake blood. But anyway, there's something about it that is so compelling and strange. Maybe compelling in its strangeness. Mm-hmm. I love it a lot. I really recommend it. I'm gonna make everybody I know watch it from now on. Allison, you don't ever have to watch it again because you did it.
Yay.
Thank you.
Maybe there's a benefit to watching things that you don't really love. Who's to say?
Who's to say?
Now I definitely won't become a cannibal or I don't know, what's it called? A Westward expansionist?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, you already live in California. Like, there's not much further you could go from there, really.
Yeah, you're kind of...
Then you're just east again.
Yeah, right. Back around.
Watch the movie and drop a comment to let us know what movie we should do next.
We won't, but...
We've already decided.
But in all reality, by the time you comment on this one, we've already done 6 more episodes. So... Bye. Just real quick, a thing that I forgot to mention is that the actor who plays John Boyd, Guy Pearce, is a vegetarian in real life. And so it's just another really fun layer to the fact that he's like, ew, meat's gross. And, he just really means it deep down.
Oh, yeah, like there's a line where he's like, they're like, oh, you don't eat meat. And he's like, only when absolutely necessary. And the guy's like, pity.
That's a pity.
Weird.
And then he, licks his lips.
Yeah. Very flirtatious of him.
Yeah.
But it makes sense that that's just, actually what he would say because he doesn't eat meat.
Yep.